Hello everyone and welcome to Mobile App Tutorials. This is the second part of the Android library tutorial. In the first part, we created a custom library, and in my custom library I created a fragment. I changed the background color of my layout, and I also added a text view, and I changed the background color of my text view and the text size. I also added a public method over here to allow users later on when they use this library to call this method and change the text in the text view. In this tutorial, we will import the library and I'll show you how to use it. To do that, we have to do 3 steps. The first thing we want to do is to import the R file. The second step is to add the dependencies to my project. The third step is to use the library and call the fragment. So we're going to start with the first step. The first step is to import the library to in my project here. So this is the project. I have a simple project, empty activity, and I want to import this library that I created here, not the module. I want to import the R file. To do that, right-click, New, Module, but this time we're going to choose import.jar.r package. When you click Next, you'll get a window that allows you to browse to the location of your R file. Now, under my project, I will go to the custom library and I will go to Build, Outputs, R, and then I'm going to select the .r file. I can also change the name of my library. Let's call it Custom Fragment. Click Finish and sync your project. As you can see, the Custom Fragment library is added now to my project view here. I don't need this module anymore, so I can actually remove it by selecting the project structure from here, and if I select this module, I can remove it from the project. So now what I have in my project is just the app, which is empty. There is nothing there, and the custom fragment R file, which was already imported. The second step is to add this custom fragment as a dependency in my app. To do that, I'll go back to my project structure one more time, select the app module, go to dependencies, and then add a module dependency. You will see now the custom fragment selected in this window here because this is the only library that we imported. Once you add this here and you hit OK, the project sync will start and you'll see that the Gradle build file will change to indicate that there is a new library now added to the dependencies. Now everything is set up and we are ready actually to use this library. So the way I'm going to do that is, first of all, I will go to my layout. I know now I have a fragment in this custom fragment library, so I will actually add a new fragment to my project. Once we add the fragment here, you will get a list of all possible pre-designed fragments that you can use. One of these fragments is the new design that we just created in the first part of this tutorial. And this new design is coming from the custom fragment library. If you hit OK, you will get this new fragment. You can set the layout to full screen if you want, just to make it simple. And this rendering problem, by the way, is because we don't have default layout for the fragment in the XML file. It's a simple problem, we can fix it later. But right now, what I can do is I can fix the width and height of my fragment to, actually it's better to just match the parent from here. And this fragment can have an ID, fragment layout 01. Okay. So right now I have the fragment in the layout, and this fragment is imported from this library, from my custom library. The only thing that's missing now is to implement the new design fragment. And I'm not gonna just implement the fragment, but I will actually complete the interface by implementing new design.onFragment interaction listener, because that completes the interface that connects the activity to the fragment. Of course, I need to implement the onFragment interaction methods, and you are now ready to use this fragment in your project with no problems. If I compile this app right now, I should see the layout that I created in my library with the same background colors on the main screen. Let's run the app and see what happens. Here you go. So this is my app right now, and as you can see, I was able to use the fragment from the library that I created. The last thing I want to do is to call the method inside that fragment and change the text. So let's do that. To call a method inside the fragment from the library, we first need to use a fragment manager. Let's move to the presentation mode to show you how things work. So the first thing I will do is to use a fragment manager instance. Of course, I need to create one first. Let's call it frag manager, and I'll get the support fragment manager. Next, I'll create an instance of my fragment. Let's call it my frag. And I'll use the fragment manager to find the fragment by ID, and the ID of the fragment, if you remember, was the ID of the layout that was associated with the fragment is the fragment layout 01. Now I have the instance of my fragment. What I can do is to call change text and pass the text that I want. Let's call it welcome Android. I'm now ready to run my app. Here you go. So as you can see, I was able to call a method inside a fragment, inside a library, and update the layout in my application. It shows you that it's very easy to create Android libraries with more complex implementations of algorithm, custom layout, custom designs, lots of other things that we can add to a library. And then we can reuse this library different times in different projects. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about creating Android libraries. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Thank you.